Hello, and welcome to my presentation on the Small Town Institute Textile Conservatory House, or STITCH. The Small Town Institute Textile Conservatory House is a non-profit institute whose mission is to preserve the history of the town and families that reside therein. Through collections and research, projects and events, the goal is to teach and inform the public of their past and celebrate it. This institute started with the death of a personal collector that resulted in a number of textiles, primarily female formal wear from the previous 2 centuries, and their house being turned over to the town. The collection is in St. Andrews, New Brunswick, Canada, and it shares space with its institute in a repurposed historical building, the house of the former owner. The interior of the house was adjusted to better suit the needs of the institute, although the exterior was left as is to maintain the historic charm. It is separated into a museum on the ground floor to display the collection on a seasonal rotation, a storage area for items not on display, and a work center to clean and maintain pieces when they are not up for viewing. A few local historians were hired to look over the acquisitions and organize them into something of value to the town. This involves determining any restoration work that needs to be performed and piecing together articles with their information, if there is any existing. The collection currently numbers around 100 dresses total. This collection was left for the town and so is being repurposed into a museum of local history for both the locals and the summer tourists to enjoy year-round. Each item is researched to provide context of its history and the women who would have worn them, their history and influences on the present day. For the administration part of this assignment, the focus of this collection is formal dresses from the pre-1930s. However, there are several pieces from as late as the 1970s, but were notably less important to the previous collector and owner. Going forwards, the collection has decided to only accept items from after the turn of the 21st century if in exceptional condition, possessing a well-documented local history, is some form of female formal wear, etc. Any piece from the 1920s or earlier that meets the requirements of being of local origin and women's formal wear would be accepted regardless of the condition of the piece in question. The decision on what would be accepted or rejected from the collection is decided by a committee that meets twice yearly to discuss such things as new acquisitions. The committee is staffed by those running the museum and a few community voices. Here on the left is the oldest dress in the collection dating from the 1860s, and the youngest from the 1970s on the right. To engage with families enjoying their winter break, Stitch will be hosting a family-focused event at the house with tours of the historic site, an exhibit of winter dress through the years with treats for afterwards, where all participants can paint their own cocoa mug with their favorite winter themes. This institute is located in a small resort town that sees a great population boom in the summer months, but during their winter months people are home with their families and children are out of school, so there is a need for family activities. With a family-focused event around Christmas, it will draw in people who are looking for something to do while the family is together and free, and also generate interest in the institute during what would otherwise be a very slow time of the year. To interest younger family members, this would be a great time to go all out with a festive winter displays. The goal of this event will be to increase winter attendance of the Institute. By having a large event that is centered on families that are in the town, off from work and school, it is hopeful that there will be increased community engagement in a time where it is normally very low. This event will also be the start of the seasonal winter display of textiles and clothing in the Institute collection. The planning in advance will involve all members of the Institute, selecting what pieces to display during the event and ensuring they're in good condition, as well as planning out budgeting and time constraints. The head of the Institute will set the budget out of the available funds for such things, and will likely authorize the necessary purchases of materials and any staff overtime, as well as hiring a company for decorations. Another member will organize what personnel will be needed to run things during the event and will oversee enlisting volunteers from their community pool before passing it on for finalization. Lastly, there will be a schedule made for setting up to ensure that all pieces are set up on display for the decorators to work around in a limited time block. One person will also be designated to inform the community of this upcoming event, getting it on community calendars and newsletters, as well as any social media. The event will be one full day the week before Christmas, with condensed setup and takedown. Planning and preparation could be done in the month prior, preferably starting before Thanksgiving, in case of unexpected surprises, but once items and services are set, the Institute will close the day prior for full setup of exhibits and activities. Additional staff will be needed because of the number of children this event will bring in. There should be one staff member in each public room in case of any incident. There should also be one staff member overseeing the activities with assistance from volunteers to manage food and drink. The measurable outcomes of this plan will be the attendance of the Institute and increased public engagement. If this event is successful, the Institute should record an increase of winter attendance by at least 1.5 times the previous year, hopefully double the amount. This should amount to 100 to 200 people during the course of this event. Reflections on this assignment. My two major sources and inspiration for this project were the New Canaan Museum and Historical Society and the Metropolitan Museum's costume collection. Both of these have a very large costume collection that encompass the time frame that I was focusing on for this project, and all of the images of the dresses from this assignment come from both of these collections. Additionally, challenges that I faced were the outreach project, which is something that I was not familiar with prior to doing this assignment, and I had a lot of difficulty figuring out where to find information about such topics and how one would organize and finance something this big. And here is the first slide of my references. And here's my second slide. Thank you all. I hope you have a good day, and I'm looking forward to seeing your presentations.